What's up, folks? This is Mayor Melton. We are in the streets. It's about 11:30. Wanted to show you phase one of what's taking place for our street light program. We like to see. So we've already started on Branch Street. Drive down Branch Street, you're going to see brand new LED lights that have been turned on all the way from Ridge Road all the way down to Fifth Avenue. Right now, part of phase one is also Broadway. We've been waiting on the new poles to come in. So some of the new poles are on its way. We have a lot of missing poles that people from car accidents have hit. But right now, the ones that are existing, we're changing the heads out. And what you're going to see is our contractor that's been working with us for the last close to a year. You're going to see them out today.
This is our infant classroom, and you just can't go by without looking at the
We're here to talk about something that truly shapes the future of our city, and that's early childhood education.
All the curriculum is active and excite children about problem solving and learning.
Today, what we were able to witness is the greatness of Gary and the greatness of Head Start coming together.
We know that the success of our children directly influences the success of our city.
In order to create big projects and deliver for Northwest Indiana, we have to have and must have an educational workforce to be able to fill those jobs.
We're laying a foundation for stronger families, a stronger economy, and a stronger Gary, Indiana for generations to come. This isn't just about education. It's about building a stronger community. When we invest in our children, we invest in our community.
Those students who have that early investment or intervention have a greater outcomes to be successful.
Did you know the City of Gary has a 311 app? You can report any non-emergency request right from your smartphone. Need help dealing with unfair landlords? Use the app.
Girl, I just don't understand. I'm paying rent, and my landlord isn't fixing any of the issues in this apartment. What should I do?
You know you can report it on the Gary 311 app. Do you have it?
What's that?
Let me show you. Just go to your app store.
Or maybe you need to request the birth certificate.
Yeah, I can't find my birth certificate.
Oh, it probably just got misplaced during the move. Actually, we can request a new one through the Gary 311 app.
Okay. New technology. I'm in.
Let me show you.
And guess what? You can even report illegal dumping.
Look at him! Just dumping his garbage on private property.
Well, caught him in 4K. You know we can report him on the Gary 311 app and to GPD's Taste Tip.
That's good.
Never feel frustrated again about an issue. Use the Gary 311 app to report all your non-emergency needs. It's a free application that allows users to report community issues, pinpoint the location with GPS, attach photos, and more. All right from your smartphone. Download the Gary 311 app today. Available on iOS and Android.
I'd like to welcome you to the City of Gary Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for March 12th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We will call it by standing up and doing the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to confirm that we have a legal meeting by quorum. Vote, please.
Member Green? Member Allen?
Present.
Secretary Morgan? Present. Vice President Dumas?
Present.
President Suggs?
Present.
Mr. President, you have 5 present and 0 absent.
With attendance of 5 present, 0 absent, we have a legal meeting. We can conduct the business of the Board of Public Works and Safety. Item number 3 on our agenda, approval of the minutes.
Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes from the March 5th and March 7th meeting.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, which has been properly seconded, that we approve the minutes for March 5th, 2025 and March 7th, 2025. Any discussion on these? Let's do the 5th first, please, separately. Any discussion on the minutes for March 5th?
No, sir.
Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, abstentions? Minutes pass. March 7th, any discussion on the minutes? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes for March 7th, 2025 have passed. Let's move to item number 4 on our agenda, claims. Motion on the floor to
Second.
move claims. It's been second. Any discussion on this action? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Claims have been moved to the end of the agenda. Let's go to item number 5, correspondence and agreement, please.
Yes, Mr. President. The first correspondence and agreement that we have is from the Planning Commission is an honorary street name renaming of Dorothy King. Mr. President, we do have, I believe, well, first let me read. This is a street renaming in honor of Dorothy King, having all documentation been submitted by the family and petitioners, having passed the Planning Commission. I move to approve the street renaming sign for Dorothy King.
Second.
Motion on the floor to approve the honorary street renaming for Dorothy King. It has been properly second. Any discussion on this matter?
Yes, Mr. President. I believe we have representatives on behalf of the renaming sign of Dorothy King here, and we would like to give them a moment to come to the mic and share on behalf of the public the legacy of Dorothy King. Anyone? No one?
Attorney Medina.
No. Well, I will read it on behalf of Dorothy. Also, so they have a Dorothy King Community Foundation. Dorothy King was a community hosting hundreds of block parties, dozens of national night outs, voter engagement events, and to encourage civic engagement for residents taking place in the 1500 block of Maryland. Dorothy King lived at 1524 Maryland Street for 46 years and provided more than 50 years of political, community, and activist career for the city, serving 10 years as a staffer with the Gary's Assessor's Office, more than 20 as the 4th District Precinct Committee woman. Having had that significant legacy, is always great to honor individuals who do such dynamic things to move the city of Gary forward. Again, having committed all or made all the commitments and met all the requirements under the said ordinance, I will just move forward.
Roll call, please.
Member Green. Member Allen.
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes and 0 no's.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 against, the renaming for the honorary street renaming for Dorothy King has been approved.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
The next one is also from the Planning Commission, honorary street renaming for Lamontrell McFarland. Having received all the proper documentation, having approved by the Planning Commission, I move to approve the honorary street renaming sign.
It's a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the honorary street renaming for Lamontrell McFarland. Any discussion on this matter?
Yes, Mr. President, I do believe we have representatives here from the honorary street renaming sign. If there's a representative. Mike.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Lamontrell McFarland's mom. Never really thought that I'd be standing here asking for an honorary sign for my son. I'm speaking on behalf of our committee on the east side in the Emerson area. No mom should have to bury their child, So, Trell was actually the vice president and founder of the East Side Valley community, where he lived for 42 years. They always sponsored back to school events every year. They were always a success. They basically, they were always a success. We had barbecues, well, we still do, with his legacy. We have barbecues, games, music, bingo for the senior citizens, jumpy houses, and different things for the children, you know, giving backpacks. So we're a pretty net community back there. And our seniors, you know, they enjoy coming out. Kids, everybody have a good time, you know. And it always put a smile on Trail's face. Like, he loved Gary, okay? But he really loved his community. Even as a child, he always helped the seniors, you know. He shoveled snow, he took out garbage, like he was very respectable. So, let me see. He worked closely with the handyman in the area. Like I said, you know, he loved Gary and loved his community. He worked closely with the precinct committeemen, passing out literature. Like, you know, he loved the east side, that area. He never moved from it. In the later years, he worked in U.S. Steel, and then he ended up leaving there, and he opened his own business. Well, him and a couple of more guys back there, what they started to do, they went like into real estate. So we had a lot of vacant homes, as you know, like Gary has, and they started basically purchasing those to build a community back up. So it's looking, you know, so renovating the homes where people will have something to stay, but not only that, to bring the area back up to what they were used to. And let me see, they helped victims in our neighborhood that had fires, you know, would help put them up in hotels, help the people when they, you know, when they had family members that died, help them with funerals, you know, because everybody don't, yeah, so different things like that. And that's what I have. You know.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, no additional comments. I would like to move to a vote.
Roll call, please.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the renaming of the street sign in the honor of Lamontrell McFarland has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you. For the families, you're welcome to stay, but you don't have to. The Public Works Department will be in contact on the installation of those signs. Thank you. Mr. President, next correspondence we have is on behalf of the Gary Fire Department. By way of Fire Chief Larry E. Tillman II, respectfully submits the termination notice of paramedic Sarah Cannon. Paramedic Cannon began her employment with the paramedic at the City of Gary on February 13, 2023, totaling 2 years of service. She's being terminated from her position effective February 25th, 2025. Attaches the review of the paramedic's termination letter. Is a copy of the paramedic's termination letter. As well as contact information should we have any additional questions. At this time, I would like to move to accept the termination letter for paramedic Sarah Cannon.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the termination letter for paramedic Sarah Cannon. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the termination of paramedic Sarah Cannon has been approved.
Mr. President, the next correspondence we have is also by way of the Gary Fire Department. It is professional services for, I'm gonna butcher this, Altec. Located at One Time Clock Drive in San Angelo, Texas. The services, whereas is for a total of $14,420 as a not to exceed amount, excuse me. And the following will be provided. This is for personnel management software will be used to assist in scheduling overtime, tracking time, days off, comp time, vacation time, etc. Also, forms of provided for equipment and vehicle maintenance records, having been reviewed by legal department and authorized, and then the QC 12 and QC 40 attached. I move to approve the contract for Alda Tech Services.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second for the approval of a software contract, provider Altech, amount not to exceed $14,420. Any discussion on this matter?
Chief, can you explain how this software will be used? I know it's what it's going to be used for.
Yes.
Is it exclusively for your department, or it will be used in conjunction with HR?
No, it's exclusively for our department. We use it for scheduling of the members of the fire department. It does the calling for the overtime for those hard shifts that we have to cover for emergencies. It puts blast out to the members of the department to get people to come back immediately in case of any emergencies that we have or shortages in manpower.
Mm-hmm.
We also use it for keeping of records, such as for PMs of vehicles in the morning, any communications that need to go intra-departmentally in order to get something from buildings and grounds, any deficiencies at the stations. And so it's an integral part of our department. It has made staffing and operations for the department a lot smoother.
Okay. So will and this is what I meant by in conjunction with
Okay.
HR. So the timekeeper, will she or whoever in your department be using that information to record on the transmittal as well as on the service record? Like the overtime, for instance?
For the overtime, we send in, no, they still are punching when they use ADP as of right now.
Okay.
And then they do overtime sheets. So she checks our logs are on a lag tech though. When we do our staffing logs, they are filled in there.
Okay.
In that software, but she uses the ADP punches in order to track the time for the department.
Okay.
Okay.
And so as your final confirmation, you'll be using ADP? I'm looking for the
Well-
reconciliation between the two. Well, ADP is what's recorded on the service record, so that's your final reconciliation.
I'm not sure exactly which one she's using as her final.
Okay. I'll check.
Yeah. Okay. It should be the logs that we send in, but we were going back and forth about that. And I think Chief Terry had reached out to try to bring her in to discuss that on how we use the process. If we go back to what the previous payroll specialist was doing, it was off the logs that we were sending in.
Okay.
But she is leaning towards the punches from ADP.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional discussion on this matter? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas? Yes. President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the ratification of the contract for the software with Altech has been approved.
All right, Mr. President, the next correspondence we have is by way of the Gary Police Department. It is a promotion. Having received this correspondence from Chief Derek Cannon, the Gary Police Department on March 10, 2025. Be advised that Sergeant Justin Clark has been promoted to Commander of Investigations effective March 15th, 2025, restoring Commander Jack Hamady back to civil service rank of lieutenant. At this time, I would like to move to approve the promotion.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the promotion of Sergeant Justin Clark to Commander of Investigations effective March 15, 2025. Any discussion on this issue? Hearing none, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the promotion of Sergeant Justin, the promotion from Sergeant Justin Clark to Commander of Investigation has been approved.
Mr. President, next correspondence we have is for Robinson Engineering. This correspondence, sorry, go ahead, William.
We have a contract for Robinson Engineering in the amount not to exceed $140,000. This is for the Community Crossings Grant Match Project, where the city has already received or been awarded $1.5 million that we will be matching for a total of a $3 million project for road resurfacing work. This proposal or contract is for professional engineering and construction engineering services for the road selected in the Community Crossings Grant Match Project. I think we have a contract end date. I believe it's December of 31st of December, but I'd like to make a motion that we accept or approve Robinson's contract engineering work for a not to exceed amount of $140,000.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve a contract for Robinson Engineering in the amount of $140,000. This contract will expire January 31st, 2026.
Okay, sorry about that.
Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green.
Yes.
Member Allen.
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract for engineering for Robinson Engineering Community Crossing Grant 2025 street paving has been approved.
Of course. Mr. President, the next correspondence we have is for professional service contract with WLTH for a 2024 contract. 2025 contract. The 2025 contract will be for 24 hour-long shows at $200 each, totaling $4,800, and 520 slots for 30 or 60-second spots at $15 each, totaling $7,800, with a grand total of $12,600 not to exceed amount. This is so that we can advertise as well as inform the public of items going on throughout the city, events, things of that sort within the city only. At this time, I'd like to move to approve the contract for WLTH.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. It has been properly seconded to approve a contract between the City of Gary and WLTH Radio, North Star Broadcasting LLC. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green.
Yes.
Member Allen.
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract not to exceed $12,600 has been approved between the City of Gary and WLTH Radio.
Mr. President, I move that we table the next item on the agenda, which is a grant with Ishmael Muhammad Nieves.
There's a motion
Second.
on the floor that has been properly seconded to table contract between the City of Gary and Ish Muhammad. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Contract has been tabled.
Next, Mr. President, we have correspondence from the Gary Health Department. A grant agreement with Faith Community Center. This grant agreement would provide for a grant not to exceed $50,000 for the calendar year 2025. So I move that we approve it, and then
Some motion on the floor to approve a grant with Faith Community Centers in the amount of $50,000 has been properly seconded. Any discussion on this matter?
we can have our director come up and discuss it.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is Butterfly Dreams. This is for 50.
This one was Faith Community.
Faith House.
And then
Oh,
next
my
is-
apologies.
It's okay.
This is for $150,000. It's a 2-year. Is it 150?
It's 50 for this year.
$100,000 grant, which goes, it's 50,000 each year. It's a 2-year grant. My apologies. 100,000, 50,000 for this year, 50,000 for next year. It's already existing program, emergency housing for children and women and children, and they provide wraparound services, case management services to the women for short and long-term housing.
Can you share where they're located?
305 East 21st Avenue. And these services are open for the public.
Any additional discussion?
Do you know approximately how many families they serve per year, or the number of people that are serviced by them?
You can come to the mic.
And if you just identify yourself and.
Good morning. My name is Shakara Gunn. I'm the behavior health manager. There are 4 units and they do communal living. I believe they can hold 4 different families in each unit, but I don't have her numbers as of yet. And she also has 2 long-term placements, one across the street for a family and another one behind the property as well for a long-term stay.
All right, thank you.
Any additional questions?
Yes. Madam Director, how often will they be reporting to you the status of the spending for the grant?
Quarterly, monthly, and then we have
Monthly.
quarterly reports as well.
Okay, so we would need those reports to be sent to the Law Department and Finance.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
That's all.
Thank you. May we have roll call, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan? Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract with the City of Gary and Faith Community Center and the amount of $100,000 has been approved.
Next, Mr. President, we have a grant agreement for the Health Department with Butterfly Dreams, an amount of $25,000 for the calendar year 2025. I move that we approve this agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve a grant with Butterfly Dreams, 4215 West 25th Avenue in Gary, in the city of Gary. And this is an amount of $25,000. Is it a 1 year or 2 years? $50,000 total. Any comments?
Okay, this is a 2-year program as well. This is a after school program that will provide, that will hire 2 wellness coaches that will provide services for suicide, to teach the children about suicide, bullying, those type of services. Yes, I'm sorry, suicide prevention, yes.
Just for clarification, Controller Green and Corporation Counsel Morgan, although it's a 2-year agreement, they still will have to have a contract for 26, a separate contract for 26, correct?
Yes. Any additional questions? Seeing none, let's have roll call for approval, please. Thank you.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President's vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the grant has been approved with Butterfly Dreams at 4215 West 25th Avenue in Gary. Thank you.
Mr. President, this correspondence we have is by way of the Public Works Department. It is for disabled parking signs new. The following addresses have submitted applications: 333 Arthur Street, 267 Grant Street, 316 Cleveland Street, 116 Taft Place, and 4388 Madison Street. All submitted documentation has been verified, and required fees will be paid upon approval. At this time, Mr. President, I move to approve the disabled parking sign news.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve disabled parking signs new. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the disabled parking signs new for 333 Arthur Street, 267 Grant Street, 316 Cleveland Street, 116 Taft Street, and 4388 Madison Street have been approved.
Mr. President, the next correspondence we have is disabled parking signs renewals for the following addresses: 3769 Jackson Street, 4737 Madison Street, 636 Harrison Street, 1000 West 36th Avenue. All submitted documentation has been verified and required fees will be paid upon approval. At this time, I'll move to approve the said addresses for renewal parking and disabled signs.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the disabled parking signs renewal. Any discussion on this matter? Just want to clarify the address on West 36th Street Avenue, Ms. James. Is that 1000 or 100 West 36? Because mine says 100.
It says 100.
Okay. Okay. Any additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract has been approved.
Mr. President, next we have correspondence from the Community Development Department, starting with awarding of an asbestos abatement contract to Safe Environmental for an amount not to exceed $25,000, which is based on a rate of $1,250 per day for inspectors and $500 per day for cleaning per house. I believe that cleaning includes monitoring of air quality for asbestos. Contractor will be paid upon submission of detailed invoices for services performed, with invoices submitted once per month. So with that, I move that we approve this contract with Safe Environmental for asbestos abatement and monitoring in relation to demolitions that the city has upcoming.
So motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve a contract with Safe Environmental in the city of Gary. Any discussion on this matter?
Just a question. Was Safe Environmental the lowest and most responsive bidder?
They actually quoted. It wasn't a bid. I don't know if Attorney Molina perhaps can come up and shed some light on things for us.
Yes, they were. There's actually 2 asbestos contracts that we have. They were one of them. Due to the timing, we needed to get these done as quick as we can, and they were the lowest and most responsive bidder. They will be doing asbestos abatement at 15 or 13 different properties, mostly on Massachusetts Street and Virginia, with a couple on Maryland and then one on Ohio.
And then the department accepted quotes because the estimates were below the $150,000 threshold for formal bidding.
Okay.
So, and yeah, they were the lowest, most responsive.
Any additional discussion on this matter?
Just to thank Attorney Molina for his hard work in getting these done on a real short time frame. He knocked a bunch of things out for us really quickly, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas. Yes. President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract between Community Development, City of Gary, and Safe Environmental has been approved.
Mr. President, next we have another contract for abatement of asbestos with NWI Environmental for an amount not to exceed $17,250 for the term of this contract, which is based on a rate of $900 per day for inspectors and $250 a day for dumpster, haul trailer. The contract will be paid upon submission of detailed invoices submitted monthly. And with that, I move that we approve this contract for asbestos abatement and removal.
Motion on the floor to approve a contract with NWI Environmental, Community Development Department, City of Gary. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion on this matter?
Yes, this is very similar to the previous contract. We have a gentleman in the audience who, did you want to make a comment? You have to come up, press the button so you get the green light and identify yourself.
Button on the right there.
I'm Anthony Yatras. I work for Northwest Indiana Environmental. I was told that it was going to be $900 per day for an inspector and $250 for each truck that we have to line.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I must have just misunderstood how you said it then. Okay, I'm sorry.
We do a not to exceed amount, a total not to exceed amount. So what we did is the calculation and then tried to make sure that we fit it within that amount. So the total based on the number of properties and what you estimate to be is $17,250 is like a cap. But that's based on the total number of properties. I think they gave in a buffer, and of course by law we can't go over that amount to a certain extent without having to build a contract.
And that was for the 15 properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any additional discussion?
Just that the reason why we have two similar contracts for similar services is we're moving forward quickly and efficiently to get as many demolitions done as we can across the city. And so with that, we needed more than one abatement contractor. And, you know, as we accelerate our efforts, this kind of thing will continue.
Thank you. I appreciate that clarification. Any additional discussion? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas?
Yes.
President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 no, the contract between NWI Environmental, Community Development Department, Gary, Indiana, for 15 properties, $900 daily, plus $250 dumpster haul trailer, not to exceed $17,250 has been approved.
Next, Mr. President, we have a demolition contract with Avatar Enterprises Incorporated for the demolition of the following addresses: 842 Delaware Street, Gary; 808 Vermont Street, Gary; 834 Vermont Street, Gary; 845 Vermont Street, 855 Vermont Street, and 835 Ohio Street in Gary. This contract is for a not to exceed of $73,099. This was arrived at as a result of a competitive bidding process. And with that, I move that we approve this contract for demolition services with Avatar Enterprises for an amount not to exceed $73,099.
There's a motion on the floor to approve a contract for 6 properties, totaling not to exceed $73,099. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on this matter?
I don't know if Attorney Molina or Ms. if anyone. No, okay. I don't think we have any comments from our attendees at the meeting. Okay, so no comment, I believe, Mr. President.
May we go to roll call for approval, please?
Member Green.
Yes.
Member Allen.
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract for 6 properties with Avatar Enterprise, Inc., Community Development Department, City of Gary, has been approved.
Next, Mr. President, we have a demolition agreement with C. Lee Construction for the demolition of the following addresses, demolition for structures at the following addresses: 716 Virginia Street, 724 Virginia Street, 577 Virginia Street, and 733 Maryland Street, all in Gary. The amount not to exceed for this contract is $109,979. And again, this was a result of a competitive bidding process. So with that, I move that we approve the contract for demolition services with Sealy Construction for $109,979.
Second.
So the motion on the floor and properly approved between Community Development Department, City of Gary, and C. Lee Construction, approval of 4 properties, 3 on Virginia, also known as Malcolm X, as well as 1 at 773 Maryland. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call?
Member Green.
Yes.
Member Allen.
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the contract between C. Lee Construction and the City of Gary Community Development Department has been approved.
Next, Mr. President, we have a demolition agreement with JM Industrial for the demolition of the structures located at 749 Maryland Street in Gary, 720 Connecticut Street in Gary, and 771 Carolina Street in Gary. The amount not to exceed for this contract is $96,600, and that was also a result of a competitive bidding process. So with that, move that we approve the contract for demolition services with JM Industrial for $96,600.
So motion on the floor to approve contract with JM Industrial and Community Development Department, City of Gary, in the amount of $96,600 for 3 addresses: 749 Maryland, 720 Connecticut, and 771 Carolina. Any discussion on this matter?
Second.
Oh,
motion.
thank you. It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion now?
The only discussion I have is for the last 5 contracts. The department will handle that, but what I'm about to say is that we should give a notice to proceed immediately. So after we do this motion, I'd like to have a motion to proceed for all of them together.
Thank you.
A question, please.
Yes, please.
The 96,000, I'm looking to see where it is. I'm looking under compensation, Article 3, I don't see it.
We received an addendum.
On here, okay.
Yeah.
But it's gonna go in the contract, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any additional discussion? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green.
Yes.
Member Allen.
Yes.
Secretary Morgan.
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, contract agreement with Community Development Department, City of Gary, and JM Industrial has been approved.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve a notice to proceed with Safe Environmental, NWI Environmental, Avatar Enterprises, Sealy Construction, and JM Industrial to proceed immediately with the work under these contracts, in coordination with our Community Development Department.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Notice to proceed between Northwest NWI Environmental, Avatar, Sealy Construction, and JM Industrial. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas? President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. We're going to go to item number 6 on our agenda, unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business that needs to go between the, before the Board of Public Works and Safety?
Are we gonna do claims at this point?
We're going to do that at the end of the agenda. Number 7, new business on the agenda. Any new business? Let's move on to the motion we had initially to put on the end of the agenda, the claims. May we have claims at this point, please?
Mr. President, we have before us claims to be paid on March 14, 2025. General fund is $47,824.88. Special revenues including motor vehicle highway, local roads and street, park department, park athletics, health and human services grant, vehicle auction, community development grant, law enforcement grant, training, the health family 2010 grant, warming and cooling, court, ESG shelters grant, COVID-19 health grant, tourism fund, media fund, consolidated area TIF, workers' comp and unemployment is a total of $495,393.58. EMS, public safety, foreclosure grant, ARPA grant, redevelopment, non-reverting fund, the LDA casino and market park is a total of $40,052.26. The total to be paid on March 14, 25 is $583,270.72.
Motion.
Oh, go ahead. Second.
Motion on the floor and properly second to pay on March 14th claims in the amount of $583,270.72. Any discussion on this matter? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas? Yes. President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, a claim to be paid on March 14th in the amount of $583,270.72 has been approved.
We also have ratification of claims for general fund, redevelopment, non-reverting fund, and community development for $73,725.41. And we have ratification of wire transfers for January of $2,213,919.78. This includes the Community Crossing Grant, Consolidated Area TIF, and General Fund. And for the month of February, ratification of wire transfers, 2025, $3,372,129.56. This includes the U.S. Steel Area TIF, Lancaster DuSable TIF, County Market TIF, Dalton Arms TIF, and Kirkgard TIF, all bond payments.
Motion to pay ratification of claims as well as wire transfer for January and February of 2025. May I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Any discussion on this matter? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Secretary Morgan?
Yes.
Vice President Dumas? Yes. President Suggs?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 5 yes and 0 against, the ratification of claims and wire transfers for January and February 2025 have been approved.
That concludes claims.
Let's move on. Do we have anyone in queue for public comment?
No, we don't.
Thank you. I see on the list here, there's no names on the list for comment here in the room. I'd like to open the floor for anyone that would like to have a comment before the board. Seeing no comments in line, may I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
It's been moved and properly second that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.